Joe, Dusty, live from New York. It's the show that may be, and I'm not 100% positive, it may be tomato can free.
It better be. If Brou's a man of integrity,
I'm not sure about all
the way
that.
he says.
Brou, Professor Broussard, what grade are you giving the Cowboys?
Well, look, this is what I wanted to see.
It's true.
I wanted them to face a good opponent.
Yep.
And an opponent that challenged them enough to show their mettle in the fourth quarter, whether or not they had it. And congratulations, Cowboys. You passed the test with flying colors. Great job.
Wow.
But before you assume they're getting the A, let's examine. Seattle, not a tomato can.
No.
I will not bring out the tomato cans as Wild suggested, but they're not great either. They're a good team.
Okay.
But Dallas,
That's fair.
kind of made them look great last night. Now you can talk about, they were urgent. They knew their backs were against the wall. They had to win this game. That all might be true. But the bottom line is a good team came into Dallas last night and looked great. A team that averages, Nick, 22 points a game, put up 35 on the Cowboys.
Good point.
Okay, a team that had not scored 30 or more since week 3 put up 35 against the Cowboys. And poor Deron Bland. Just last week, I gave him the A+.
Yesterday, Wild was calling him Darrell Revis.
You didn't think they should throw at him.
Yeah,
Here's a little
late
Steve
dialogue.
100% wrong.
Here's one thing to know. And when a guy gets a lot of interceptions, it's obviously great, but it also means they're testing you. They're throwing at you a lot because they know they can beat you. So sometimes you might get beat, but sometimes you get an
By the way,
interception.
like Trayvon Diggs as a rookie.
Yes, exactly.
The guy he's replacing. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So Deron Bland, we actually have a graphic of what happened to him last night, and it wasn't pretty.
No.
All right, I think we have a graphic, but it's he got targeted 14 times, 10 receptions, gave up 184 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick.
I mean, not great.
The pick was a great play.
It was a great pick.
It wasn't an easy pick, and it came as a credit.
And I give him credit because he had been scorched to that point, so he had to show some resilience. Offensively, Dak was phenomenal. Give Dak his love. But they were only 4 of 8 in the red zone. Now, they've been better in the red zone the last several weeks, but that's tomato cans. But last night, 4 of 8, and you noticed that they had a 1st and goal from the 2. You got to punch that in. That might get you might overcome that with against Seattle, but I don't know that you do against some of the better teams. And then here's the other thing. The thing I don't like, the thing I don't like about them.
A lot.
Mike McCarthy at the end of the games. It's a question mark.
And Nick, cover that
Nick, you know this. 3rd and 3. They throw the ball in the end zone. They should have just ran it.
And by the way, they didn't even.
You agree with me on that.
Not only do I agree with you, a touchdown there is worse than a first down. A first down ends the game. A touchdown, technically, Seattle has a chance. There was no upside, only downside. And I'll cover the McCarthy stuff in further detail, but I fully agree
it gave
with
Seattle 40 extra seconds. And again, elite quarterbacks, you're going to be in trouble. So, all that said,
there we go. Finally.
Look, I'm a tough grader.
We know that.
And Dak got an A. Dak was fine. But the rest of them, overall, a B.
Okay.
A B.
To be great.
A B is fine.
All right. May I go?
It was a good. And I'm proud of them for showing some resilience.
Solid
Okay.
B.
I have written at the top of my page, the correct grade is a B.
Oh.
And here is why. Coaching, and I'll use kind of a college analogy here since we're doing grades. Coaching is a B minus.
Okay.
The coaching was like an A student all year who then tanked the final. And luckily,
it's been that way at times.
And so the grade got dragged all the way down to a B minus. Mike McCarthy is an offensive coach, first and foremost, has taken over the offense. Dak is having the best year of his career. The Cowboys are the number 1 scoring team. He must get credit for those things. They're about to win the 12 games, 3rd straight year. He has to get credit for those things. But the very end of the game, in my opinion, was a disaster. That could have cost them the game. Not just not running it. What they needed to do was run it on 3rd and 3, and if you're stopped short, go for it on 4th down. And you might disagree with me on that. I hate the up 6.
Field goal would have been up, what, 9?
No, they were up.
They got the field goal.
I hate the up 6 thing. I'd rather be up 3 than up 6 late in spots because the other team is more conservative. They settle for a field goal, and either way, touchdowns beat you. You and I might disagree on that, but where we definitely agree is you've got to run the ball, take the clock down to a minute, and then decide, not throw into the end zone. So that's B-. The defense, I gave a C+ to. Very different type of student. Was basically failing the class all year and then aced the final. And it pulled their grade up to a C+ because Bland made the pick. DeMarcus Lawrence made one of the sneaky biggest plays of the game on the 4th down, the run stop that he made. And then Micah, I know he was unblocked, but Micah, the best player on your defense, came in and did it. Right. So if I gave the defense a C+ and the coaching a B-, how does the team get a B? Because Dak Prescott had an A+, no notes, near perfect quarterbacking performance. The only critique I have for Dak is on that 3rd and 3. He has to know, if it's not an easy completion, go down and just take the sack. Something we see Mahomes do a lot when in those spots where it's unless it is an obvious completion, go down. We're still in field goal range.
Can I have a counter to that? Do you buy the idea? And I know on paper it's right to run the ball and, like you said, take the sack. But do you buy the idea of, man, I'm in the zone and I'm feeling it, and I can throw a touchdown right here, and it's just when you're in the zone, you're in the zone.
So my point is that I can throw a touchdown right here is not the key part. Just like Mahomes against the Jets understood, didn't want a touchdown, go down. If you call a pass play there, the idea behind it has to be it has the completion percentage of nearly a handoff, where it is open, he is right there, we're taking it, or I'm not throwing it away. I am going down so we get the same benefit of the 40 seconds. That was the only mistake Dak made. Other than that,
I think he saw, too, that CD had single coverage and
just wanted to go to
my best guy.
And by the way, and Dak, and I give him an A+ for that. The pass to CD Lamb in the end zone on the 4th down they went for before was something we have seen that honestly reminded me of a few Mahomes moments this year, where it's like double covered has to be thrown to a 6-inch by 6-inch box, and that's where he threw it, and it went through his hands. Right. The pass and catch, by the way, to Ferguson in the end zone at the end of the game was perfect. So I agree with you, Brou, on the overall grade, because I thought, and I know we'll get into it, the defense did not play well against an offense that had been struggling. Now, Geno, when he's on, can look like a top-flight quarterback. He played really well, and so I give him a B as well. I think that's the right.
Okay, Dak's numbers on the Knights officially. Just shy of 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, enough rushing to be a constant threat. Here's Dak on some of the critics. Take a listen.
You guys.
Who called for his spot? Lose his job?
Trey Lance. The Trey Lance thing. I think that's what he's talking about.
All right, well, Nick, you did predict this, that he would jump into the MVP conversation in a deeper way. Here's the raw data on the MVP candidates. Hurts has the most total touchdowns, but also the most turnovers. Mahomes has the most total yards. Dak has the most touchdowns.
Right now, it's not close.
And Dak's got
6 interceptions. You don't think it's close?
Right now, I don't think it's close. Right now, Dak Prescott's league MVP. Now, we forget that 12 of 17 is not 3 quarters. It is not. You got a long way to go. You got a long way to go. But right now, it is clearly and definitively Dak Prescott. And I say that with my favorite player ever being on the list of guys you can make a case for.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it. He is the engine behind the best offense in the league. We can show you his numbers on the year. They are overwhelming. He is across the board better. When I say across the board, I don't mean in every single category, but he has the large majority far better numbers than his biggest competition within his conference in Hurts and Purdy, with the worst
better
of the three. Yeah. He has within Purdy.
I'd say better than everybody.
Well, he's got 7 more touchdowns. He has more yards per game. They are tied to the 10th of a point in completion percentage, and Purdy has the higher old school passer rating. He has the higher QBR if you're a QBR person.
Purdy.
But Dak has QBR. Purdy has passer rating. And while I am not at all, and I wasn't trying to yesterday act like and he's doing it with no weapons. But of the Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, the Cowboys clearly have the least talented offensive squad.
I don't think it hurts his argument that he has talent with him. And I think you're way overstating the gap.
No, wait, okay. This is where, again, we got an argument where we all agree. If we were to rank the offensive skill players on the Eagles, Niners, Cowboys, take quarterback out of it. Okay. So you have wide receivers, tight ends.
Start with wide receiver.
No. It's the whole collection.
Let's start with wide receiver.
A.J. Brown's the best. But if you...
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't watch the game last night.
A.J. Brown.
Wait, hold on. If you guys are going to argue with the point I'm making, then let's just make sure you understand the point I'm making. I am saying, of the Niners, Cowboys, and Eagles, if all of their running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends got in a room, and you drafted them, team by team, the Cowboys go third from all of us, every single one of us. And you guys agree with me. You guys agree with me that the Niners and Eagles, it might not be a massive gap like you're saying. It ain't a massive gap. But you can't. So if Dak has the best numbers, and he's doing it with, even if they're talented, the least talent of the three of the other guys that are the contenders in his conference, he's the MVP right now.
All right. Dak also has the better offensive line than Purdy, for sure. And I'm not even trying to have a Purdy.
But certainly not than Hurts.
Not better than Hurts. Not better than Hurts. Look, Dak, I'll give him, he is having a phenomenal year. This is his best I've ever seen him play. And I've been a guy that years ago I was saying he's en route to being elite. And then I was seeing enough and I was like, you know what? He's good. He's not elite, and that's what I was saying at the beginning of the year. What I'll give him credit for is that before was always don't let Dak do too much. You know, you got to have a running game, and then he'll throw when you need it, throw 30 times a game, but not more. Now he is the offense as far as the engine of that offense, okay? CeeDee Lamb's great. Pollard's starting to come along. Ferguson is emerging as a nice tight end. But Dak it's a passing offense.
Yes.
And I will give him credit for that. So what I will give Dak, Nick.
Another grade?
Yeah, I got something else for Dak.
I saw a lot of placards.
Oh, really?
I will give Dak an A for approaching MVP.
Sometimes it's like a grade, sometimes like kindergarten.
Yeah,
you get like an A for approaching.
Yeah, he's approaching. And here's why I say, no. There's a reason. There's a method to the madness. I'm playing chess, baby.
Okay,
all right.
sorry.
Now he's approaching.
Okay.
And this is Jalen Hurts has one game to play this weekend. So let's see what he does, you know. Yeah. He'll have 12. Let's see what he does. Because I've said Jalen all along or the last few weeks, and I'll stick with him. But here's my one knock on Dak right now. You got to beat somebody good. Like, this is a good team. Hold on, it's a good team. But when you look at Purdy and Mahomes and Jalen and even Lamar, they have beaten much better competition. Dak is like the NBA player that's dropping 30 against the bad teams.
No.
And then the good teams, he might put up some numbers, but they lose. Or he might not put up numbers.
Right, but so the problem for me with that argument specifically against Hurts is when they played, the Eagles were the better team, but Dak had the far better game. He almost threw for twice as many yards. Dak was brilliant in that
struggled.
game. You and I disagree on the level that he struggled at the end.
I'm not saying it was abysmal, but he made some bad mistakes.
Over the entirety of when they did play, I know you're a quarterback wins guy, Wildes, but you will acknowledge that it is possible for one quarterback to play better than the opposing quarterback and lose despite that.
Absolutely.
And over the course of the year, I'm going to show you their passing numbers. And I understand Jalen has been the more impressive.
He's played far better teams.
Right, but these numbers are not close. And so the way to make them close is say, well, we have to add the rushing. But we know Jalen is not running the ball this year like he did last year.
He's got 11 rush touchdowns.
Right. So if the reason he's MVP is the brotherly shove, then let's make some Jason Kelce arguments. Because the passing numbers...
Because he's a big part of the brotherly shove.
He is, but the passing numbers are not close, guys.
But it's not just passing numbers. It's the whole thing.
He ended the game the other day by running.
He's been clutch.
I totally agree he's been clutch. This is something where I get a little frustrated sometimes. I want to be very clear, especially on Jalen. I don't care so much when it happens with Purdy, but I do care here. Me arguing a guy is not currently the league's most valuable player is not arguing the guy is not awesome. In Purdy's case, I don't think he's awesome. Jalen Hurts, I do think is awesome.
Yeah.
I think Dak Prescott has been better this season, and I think Dak Prescott right now is the league's most valuable
by the
player.
numbers, Hurts has more total TDs.
And twice as many turnovers.
And Dak has...
Hold on. He has one more touchdown.
Okay,
one.
But it's one more.
Well,
someone's got to have more.
Let's see what he does Sunday, because Dak has one more game.
more yards.
Hold on. Wait a second.
Well, Dak has one more game, too, though, Nick. Let's see what Hurts does this weekend.
Hold on. I'm going to... Are you...
20, I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's 29-28. It's not a hot take.
Right? No, of course. So if their total touchdowns are damn near even, that's the best thing that you can do, right? Score a touchdown.
Yeah, pretty
What's
good.
the worst thing you can do? Are they close?
Well, it's 14-6 turnovers.
Okay.
Not great.
So right, and okay. So if on A's you're basically tied, one guy has one more, and on F's the other guy has 130% more. I would think we would go well. You give me 97% of the touchdowns, and you have more than you have 2.5 times as many turnovers. That's a massive piece of evidence.
I agree with you on that. And again, Hurts has one more game. If he has 4 touchdowns, then he'll increase the gap. But my point, though, like I said, my biggest point is just who he's done it against. And I'm not even talking about just the tomato cans, but the great thing is he's got his chance.
Yes.
He got the next 4 weeks, and he started well last night.
And one of his best games did come in a loss to the Eagles.
Do we want to eliminate Mahomes from the conversation?
No, I don't.
Because he's got 11 turnovers?
No, I don't think but right now he is clearly not the MVP.
But leading into, I'm saying, do you want to eliminate
I'm not eliminating Jalen Hurts from the conversation. I am saying right now
Then
who the
vote
MVP
on the award
is.
right now.
Well, right. But the discussion we're having is who it is. So right now,
at one point
Dak's the MVP.
it was Brock at week 5.
It was never Brock, but that's neither here nor there. But I would not make the case right now that Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. I have not made that case 1 week all year.
It's getting spicy. I mean, like the race, the MVP race, is getting spicy.
I'm going to back Mahomes.
That's fine.
Look, it's wide open, man. And Dak is firmly in the race.
It's just important to be fair. I mean, we killed Dak all year last year for turnovers. Jalen is on pace for far more than Dak had last year, and now they don't matter.
But
that's
not
matter. But the rushing
does
matters
too, though, Nick.
Wins, man. Guys lost one game.
It's not just pure stats.
Must-win game for the Seahawks. Geno did all he could.
Dak is crushing the eye test.
334 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a drive that had 3 touchdowns on its own. Vaunted Cowboys defense, little bit shaky. This season versus the Eagles and the Seahawks, 31 points, 9 touchdowns, only 1 takeaway, 350 yards, passer rating way up there, third down percentage, 57%. So, Nick, are you concerned about the Cowboys defense?
Yes. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl because I said I thought they were going to have the best defense in football. They don't. And right now it's not close. And I thought that best defense in football was going to propel them to the number 1 seed. They're not, by winning last night, they're alive for it, but they're going to need a lot of help. They're going to need the Niners to beat the Eagles, and then they have to beat the Eagles. Then the Eagles have to lose an additional game after that. So that's
so they couldn't.
No,
because they would be tied.
No,
both
because
have 3 losses.
The Eagles would end up with the next tiebreaker.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So for the Cowboys to end up with the number 1 seed, they're going to have to have a better record outright than the Eagles, or the Eagles to lose to the Giants, which is not so.
It gets easy for the Eagles.
Exactly. And so now what I will say is the part of their defense that I thought was going to be great that has been as advertised is the pass rush. Right. And if you are trying to win a Super Bowl and you have a great quarterback, if you could only have one great part of the defense, that's what you'd want it to be. Because you can win games. That's the way the Chiefs did it in 19, by the way, where our quarterback gets us to a lead, you have to pass, and our pass rush takes care of it. So I don't think their defense, Brou, is disqualifying, but it is not the defense that I thought it was going to be at the beginning of the year.
Anybody thought it was.
Yeah.
All right, look, you gave their defense, I'm shocked you gave them a C+ last night.
More grades.
Because I gave the defense a D.
That's why
I gave the defense a D last night.
So what is bad?
And I'll get to that. I'm playing chess.
Great.
But look, let's see this graphic. Because the defense, Nick, Wildes had your little graphic. look, when they play 500 or above, they're top five in points allowed and yards allowed. But you see that most of it is against the tomato cans. They only give up 13 points a game against tomato cans. When they play a team that's 500 or above, I'm eschewing the winning record. Just 500 or above,
so now you're adding
they've
Seattle
given up 35 points a game. Well, guess who you're going to meet in the playoffs?
Teams that are
500
well, not the
or
first
above.
round. When they get the NFC South winner, they get the 8 and 9 Tampa Bay Bucks.
And it all spells out bad news for my man Nick Wright, because that defense compared to San Francisco's and Philly's,
you notice how he said San Francisco
going to get out of the NFC.
Brou
They're good. They're a good team.
Brou
but
wants the
not getting to the
Niners
Super Bowl
so bad.
No, I don't.
Brou, you can have
I don't. I don't want them.
Let Wildes be the Eagles guy.
No. I made my pick, and I like my pick. I feel good about my pick.
I know you're playing.
Philly,
I know
Super
you're
Bowl.
playing chess, but I also see another thing here. Like, am I supposed to?
Nah, this one is.
He didn't want it.
I'm dismissing that one. That was checkers. I'm playing checkers.
Coming up next, can Brock Purdy?
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.